Hey guys, what is going on? This is a Spartan with the infected special. I promised to do this before Halloween, but I got awfully sick and I couldn't talk for longer than like 5 minutes, so I'm sorry about that. But without further ado, let's get started with this. So one thing is I'm not gonna get through the Apex units because let's face it, I gotta get through 8 units within 20 minutes, and this is gonna be a mouthful to say. So I'll do a separate video for all the arc units a bit later. Plus there's only plus there's a 3 infected cap, which doesn't make my life any easier. So let's get started. Now these units are pretty weak, so we're going to the Raider training camp right here. And yeah, again, I'm sorry I couldn't get this out before Halloween. I just really got fricked up from a cold. It was a bloody mess, literally. I'll spare you the details. So, oh no, I gotta get through 9 units. Forgot about the new Muller. Okay, so let's start off with everyone's favorite, the creepers. I'm only gonna be using the archetype units unless I lack them. Then I'll just use the base one. Then I'll use the advanced as fillers. So the creepers. They're obviously everyone's favorite. They're the most powerful, as you can tell by their amazing swipe attack, because they appear to have a broken arm for whatever the heck reason. So as you can see, these things are definitely powerful with their 2-turn cooldown. They're so powerful they can only hit the first row. I mean, 200 HP is nothing to joke about. These units will shred everything with their 100 plus damage. That's some serious stuff right there. I mean, just look at this. Just look at like they shredded right through these units without any stopping. They're unstoppable. That's why the creepers are obviously the superior of all infected. Yeah, there goes my sarcasm. So, now let's go to my favorite ones, or which I think are the coolest looking, the Stalkers. And, I mean, seriously, it's an infected with a bladed arm. What else do you want? It looks frickin' sick, has a high dodge. This attack only hits like the back row or so, but it still works. I'm gonna have to wait a turn. I'll put him right here, because why not? And it's high damage too. Alright, let's see if I can... Yep, it can hit the front row occasionally. Has a high crit. And the what's it called? The Apex Stalker is actually used in some ancient Sentinel formations. I mean, again, Stalkers are just my personal favorite. They're like the ninjas of the zombie world. Except they don't cost 95 nanos. So, let's go with the next ones. Now, I'll be showing you them outside of these raiders. I'm just trying to show you off all of the different types right now. So the next ones, what do I want? Let's put down the ugliest ones. The Bullfrogs. Bullfrogs. Yeah, I can only have 3 zombies. That's complete bull. Let's put down something that these things won't get through. Alright. There we go. Now, the Bullfrogs, they have 2 types of attacks. The weak cough, which can actually hit the front row, and the anti-everything else. What's this called? The acidic spew. Arcing spew, okay. Yeah. You can see that they're only doing about 50 damage, or 60, when the archetype Bullfrogs, when the frickin' Bullfrogs and the Boss Strike do over 100 easily. So, there's some crap going on there with that, but let's go with the weak cough. Or the weak... It's literally called the weak cough. I'm not making this up. The attack literally has weak in its name. So don't be expecting much of anything from it. Yeah, plus the sound they make is pretty nasty. Okay, 2 weak coughs missed. Alright. Is it gonna miss again? Not this time. The regular Bullfrog apparently hits better than the arc ones. Because that makes so much sense. Alright, let's just shred through these things. I gotta get through a bunch more of these guys. Alright, I think I'll do the Shredder next. They're another pretty cool looking one. See, a lot of these zombie units are awesome looking. It's just that they don't have the performance to do anything. I only have a base Shredder. I never actually got an Arc Shredder, so I'm ashamed of myself there. Now, the good thing about the Arc Shredder is it has a L7 drill-esque attack that can just constantly keep going. I could honestly use this attack throughout the whole match and shred everything. And then there's the other attack that just hits 3. So yeah, Shredders, they can just keep going. They're that kind of zombie. And their crit chance isn't too bad either, based on what you saw there. So the next one, let's go with this one. This one has been introduced last year, I think. Yeah, they weren't introduced too long ago. And that's the Arc Crawlers, which are, I mean, if you look at this thing, it's stuff of nightmares. A guy got infected, so he turned into a half spider thingy. I don't want to think about what happened there. So let's put down some defense, and I have 2 crawlers, an advanced. The first attack is an explosive, apparently web, that has a chance to stun. It's its weakest attack, with its other attacks being relatively powerful. And I mean, during a strike, these things just shred all of my fences. It's pretty ridiculous, because of the crushing damage they deal. But again, plasma artilleries take care of them really easily. But that's already been shown. So as you can see, these guys were actually pretty cool to have last year. There was something new. I think it was last year when they were given. Yeah. Couldn't have been much more. Couldn't have been at another point. Alright, now let's look at the newest ones. The Maulers. Yeah, I can only put 3 per battle. And these are possibly the toughest zombies we got. I mean, they have one attack that hits the entire front row. A targeted attack, which has a chance to poison. And they have one more attack that's essentially a low-level version of the Plasma Artillery, Shaman, or Raider, Summoner, or Raider, Shaman, whatever you want to call them, etc. Its attack pattern has been used to death now. But it's this one, and it actually hits relatively hard. So you can actually clear out low-rank formations in seconds. Yeah, a lot of my videos have been zombie-related, but it's Halloween. Well, I mean, it's past October by now. I'm sorry again. But, you know, sometimes things just show up that completely mess up your schedule. Nothing you can do about that. So apparently there's a... Alright, no, never mind. There's no cap on Colossuses. So, the Colossus... This one's my personal favorite. It's like having a... it's like having a wimp with armor. And this attack has a chance to stun, too. So, yeah. One attack goes straight forward, one side to side. It's blocked by nothing, but it can't hit air. So there's that one negative side. Alright, and now for the flying zombies, the Arc Hunters. And I gotta do the Cannoneer next. So the Arc Hunter has 2 attacks. What the? Now that I look closer, that just looks weird as ever, but it has 3 attacks, 1 anti-air and 2 basic attacks that can hit anything on the ground. They don't do bad damage for low rank, but this might take a while with all the dodges they're getting. Alright, there we go, I got a hit. I obviously can't show you the anti-air attack, but it's nothing special, honestly. It's its weakest attack. The predatory dive seems to really frickin' suck. Yeah, it really frickin' sucks. Compared to the gremlin. Alright, well, I guess that's why it has a quick cooldown. Alright, come on. Stop dodging. It'll be over sooner. There we go. Again, low rank units and such. So, the last one, which is possibly one of the more annoying ones. The Cannoneer. I have one of them, and it's useful. Or, well, at lower ranks, I mean. You won't see a level 70 using the... As you can see, it has a pretty powerful chest cannon. That's its main advantage. It has a 2-turn cooldown, it hits like a tank. There's nothing else to be said about this unit. Oh, and it misses. Does this thing have a crit against tanks? So, yeah, it has a pretty good crit against tanks. So, it's actually halfway powerful. I think that was all of them. So, let's go to show you why. Let's go to show you why I showed you them on. Let's go to. Yeah, I'm just gonna go work them on some high rank rebels now, just to show you why I wouldn't use these things on... Oh, alright, can I find some rebels? Yeah, right here, I knew they were somewhere. So, let me show you why you won't be using these units, besides the 3-unit cap. Or, well, this is more to show you their performance. So, I'll put down the most powerful ones, which are obviously the Colossus, Colossi, and I'll put down a Cannoneer since I can't put down anything else. Really, Z2. This cap is the most ridiculous thing here. And we're talking about a game that has some of the most serious logic issues I've seen in a long time. But seriously, this cap is ridiculous. 3 zombies, come on. Zombies can barely do anything. Especially with half the crap we have these days. So, yeah, you can probably tell why you won't use these units much. I mean, do they have their uses? Occasionally. This is a heavy Arctic tank, by the way. One of the worst tanks in the game, as proclaimed by me. And half the community. The thing is that these units are just old. They've been around since I don't even know what patch. Alright, that was actually pretty good. They may have done damage at one point, but nowadays they are just obsolete by essentially everything else. They are just weak now. Even the wimps. They were unstoppable beings of destruction at one point. I mean, wimps can be killed relatively easily nowadays with almost anything. And I'm talking about rank 6 wimps. If you have wimps lower than rank 6, you shouldn't be using them anyway. Unless you're trying to rank them. Which still seems to be a relative challenge. But it is worth to rank them. So, let's get to the statistics of all of these units. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking for a while. They're all the way at the back over here, and... Alright. Arc Hunter, 275 health points. These are all at rank 1, by the way. 500 bravery, 70 defense, partial blocking. They take extra fire damage. Its gremlin attack does 108 to 132. Crushing damage for a cooldown of 3, 1 ammo used, 1 to 5 range, indirect line of fire, 46 offense, 0% base crit, 20% crit versus vehicle, 20% crit versus aircraft, and 50% armor piercing. The swoop attack does 41 to 50 crushing damage for a cooldown of 2. 1 ammo used, 1 to 5 range, indirect line of fire, 34 offense, 0% base crit, and 35% armor piercing. The predatory dive does 47 to 57 crushing damage for a cooldown of 1. 1 ammo used, 1 to 5 range, indirect line of fire, 40 offense, 0% base crit, and 10% armor piercing. Alright, next one, Colossus. The Colossus has 250 hit points, 125 armor, equaling at 375 total health. It has 500 bravery, 40 defense, it's a blocking unit that takes extra damage to fire, but its armor resists 50% of crushing damage, 25% of fire damage, and 50% of piercing damage. The Fist Shockwave does 113 to 188 crushing damage for a cooldown of 4, 1 ammo used, or 1 range, direct line of fire, 32 offense, and 40% armor piercing. The Stunning Strike does 105 to 195 crushing damage for a cooldown of 4, 1 ammo used, 1 range, a direct line of fire, 46 offense, 0% base crit, 40% armor piercing, and a 40% chance to stun a unit for 3 turns. The Arc Stalkers have 220 hit points, 500 bravery, 50 defense. They take extra fire damage, and its scythes have infinite ammo. The Cleave does 106 to 144 piercing damage for a cooldown of 3, 1 range, contact line of fire, 56 offense, 20% crit versus tank, and 90% armor piercing. That's hell of a lot of armor piercing. Scythe arm. We have tank shells that only do 75% armor piercing, but a scythe arm nearly cleaves right through armor. The Backslash does 60 to 100 crushing damage for a prep time of 1, 3 turn cooldown, 1 to 2 range, contact line of fire, 56 offense, and 40% crit versus soldier. I'm basing these stats off of Arc units, by the way. The Arc Bullfrog has 200 hit points, 500 bravery, 50 defense, partial blocking, takes extra fire damage, and its Bile has 2 ammo for 5 turn reload. The Arcing Spew does 50 to 61 fire damage with a cooldown of 3, 1 ammo used, 45 range, indirect line of fire, 46 offense, 50% armor piercing, and a chance to poison a unit for 2 turns, 100% chance to poison. The Weak Cough does 25 to 30 fire damage for a cooldown of 3, 1 ammo used, 1 to 4 range, indirect line of fire, 46 offense, 50% armor piercing, and a 100% chance to poison a target for 2 turns. The Arc Cannoneer has 250 hit points, 500 bravery, 50 defense, partial blocking, 120, it takes extra fire damage, and its chest cannon has 3 ammo for 6 turn reload. It has 1 attack named the Chest Burster. That has to be an Aliens reference. Chest Burster. That just has to be an Aliens reference. We already know that Z2 likes aliens based off of the design of the Mech Trooper. So it does 116 to 174 explosive damage for a cooldown of 2, 1 ammo used, 1 to 2 range, a direct line of fire, 30 offense, 45% crit versus tank, and 60% armor piercing. Everyone's favorite Arc Creeper has 200 hit points, 500 bravery, 50 defense, partial blocking, takes extra fire damage. Its claws have infinite ammo. It does 71 to 119 damage for crushing damage type, cooldown of 2, 1 range, direct line of fire, 46 offense, and a 0% base crit. I'm not even sure why that's mentioned. Let's see, what's next? The Shredder. This is just a base Shredder. It's not an Arc Shredder. I couldn't get one fast enough. The Shredder has 180 hit points, 500 bravery, 45 defense. Takes extra fire damage. Its infected claws have 4 ammo for 2 turn reload, and its other claws have infinite ammo. The infected claws swipe does 45 to 75 piercing damage with a cooldown of 4, 1 ammo used, 1 to 2 range, a contact line of fire, 51 offense, 20% crit versus critter, and 60% armor piercing. The claw swathe does 53 to 88 piercing damage for a cooldown of, or an ammo used of 1 to 2 range, on contact line of fire, 41 offense, 20% crit versus critter, 10% crit versus soldier, and 60% armor piercing. Moving on to the last two. The Muller has 480 HP, 30 bravery. Wow, that's low bravery for a zombie. 35 defense. It's a blocking unit that takes extra fire damage. It resists 60% of explosive damage, 20% of cold damage, and 15% of piercing damage. It also apparently has armor that resists 20% of cold damage. Haven't gone there yet. All of its claws have infinite ammo. The Infected Claw Swathe does 68 to 102 piercing damage for cooldown of 3, 1 range, direct line of fire, 46 offense, 20% crit versus critter, and 15% crit versus soldier. The Poisonous Claws do 81 to 109 piercing damage for cooldown of 2, 1 to 4 range, indirect line of fire, 46 offense, 0% base crit, 15% crit versus critter, and 10% crit versus soldier. And they have a 50% chance to poison a target for 2 turns. And the Burrow does 56 to 84 times 2 piercing damage for cooldown of 4, 1 to 5 range, indirect line of fire, 46 offense, 0% base crit, and 75% armor piercing. That's as much piercing as a tank shell. God. Not you, Apex Muller. You're useless. Alright, the Arc Crawler has 245 hit points, 500 bravery, 50 defense, partial blocking. Its claws have 2 ammo for 4 turn reload, 3 ammo for 3 turn reload, and 1 ammo for 5 turn reload. The claws web snare. Okay. You know, claws do web snare. Alright, I won't argue. Does 39 to 58 explosive damage for cooldown of 2, 1 ammo used, 1 to 4 range, a contact line of fire. 46 offense, 20% crit versus critter, 10% crit versus soldier, and an 85% chance to stun a target for 3 turns. The Claws Eviscerate, I hope I pronounced that right, does 48 to 72 times 3 crushing damage for cooldown of 2, 1 ammo used, 1 to 3 range, a contact line of fire, 56 offense, 15% base crit, 30% crit versus critter, 20% crit versus soldier, and 50% armor piercing. And last but not least, lastly, the Claws Jump Attack does 56 to 84 times 3 crushing damage for cooldown of 3, 1 ammo used, 1 to 5 range, a precise line of fire, 46 offense, 20% crit versus critter, 10% crit versus soldier, and 50% armor piercing. Holy crap! Let's hope I never have to go through that many units in a single video again. I mean, whoa. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is TheSpartan, and goodbye.